Geometry Chapter 1, Lesson 4, Video D. This is the final video lecture for this. And in this lecture, it's going to be rather short. We're going to talk about parallel planes. Okay, we talked about parallel lines and skew lines in the last video. This one we're going to look at parallel planes. So again, we want to read the paragraph, find the key information, write it in our notes, and then we'll discuss a little bit. So parallel planes are planes that do not intersect. A line and a plane that do not intersect are also parallel. So you can be talking about different figures according to this last sentence. So you don't necessarily, when you're talking about parallel, have to be talking about the same two types of figures. In other words, you don't have to be talking about two lines and just two lines, or two segments, or two rays, or two planes. You can be talking about a plane and a line being parallel, or a line and a ray being parallel, or a line and a different segment being parallel. So you can mix and match. The only requirement is that when they're parallel, they're not going to intersect. Whoops, that didn't mean to do that. They're not going to intersect. So in our notes then, we'd want to say parallel planes are planes that don't intersect. And also any other two figures that don't intersect would be considered parallel. So let's go ahead and just look at a couple of examples, and that'll really wrap up this video. So in this, let's see, I think I've got some. Name three pairs of parallel planes. Okay, so three pairs of planes that would be parallel. Now remember, we're naming planes, so we have to use three letters. No symbol, no letter, no symbol above them, just three letters to name the plane, okay? So which planes would be parallel? Well, I'm looking at a box here. You think about a box. The front of this box, along with the back of this box, would be parallel. So let's just go ahead and name those two. So the front of the box has points P, T, U, and R in them. So I could use any of those letters. Any three of those letters. So P, well, you're not going to be able to see that. So let me fatten this up a little bit too. I don't like that. Hang on just a second. There we go. I hope that's fat. Well, I mean, the ink is fat. Okay, so the front of the box I could use letter P. That's not much better, but R and U. And then we're going to use the parallel symbol. This is the symbol for parallel. It would be two lines vertically next to each other parallel. This is the symbol that you would want to use rather than writing out parallel. You can just use these two lines. This represents parallel. Okay, so PRU is parallel to the back of the box is the plane. I can use any three letters from the back, so I could use S, Q, and V. Okay, so that's one pair of parallel planes. So what would be another pair, another pair of parallel planes? Okay, well that might be the top and the bottom. Okay, so the bottom of the box is represented by this plane here, so I can use any three letters on the bottom. So I can use T, U, and V would be parallel to the top of the box, any three of those four letters up there, so I could use R, Q, and S. So that's two pairs. So one other pair then would be the right side and the left side. Any three letters from the right, I could use R, V, and U is parallel to any three letters from the left side of the box. I could use S, W, and T. So those are three possible ways to name those pairs of parallel planes. Okay? Let me go to the next page, look at one more example from a figure that's not quite so simple, and then you can do the rest of the lesson on your own on your homework problems, okay? So let's look at, let's see, what do I have here? Come on, where are you? Oh, there we go. Name all the lines that are parallel to AB. So line AB is right down here at the bottom. So I need all the lines that are parallel. So I'm looking for lines that are in the same plane, either shown or not shown, that are parallel to AB. Well, the plane here is in the front is FG, so any line in FG in the plane ABG is going to be parallel. So I could use line FG would be one line that's parallel to B. And remember, name all lines, so I use two letters in the line symbol. Now, are there any other lines that are parallel? Well, one way to look at this is to look for a plane that's parallel to this, because then those lines, I could probably draw another plane through and make those parallel. There aren't any other planes or aren't any other lines that are going to be parallel to this, so that ends up being my only answer. FG is the only line that is parallel to AB. So FG is parallel to AB. Now, real quick, what mistake did I make in naming this over here? What is the question asked? 2 lines. So here I have 2 letters. What's the problem? Is FG a line? Is FG a segment? Or is FG an array? We don't know. So make sure, because it asks for a line parallel to AB, then my answer needs to be lines. So I should have these symbols above both of those. Okay? All right, let me take a look at one more example that we have here, and hopefully that'll be enough for you. So name 2 lines that are skewed to EJ. So I need to find EJ. EJ is back here. Okay, so I need 2 lines that are skewed to that. 2 lines that, again, that's going up and down, so I'd be looking for lines that are going the opposite direction, or a different direction, not in the same plane. I wouldn't use LE. Why? Well, because I use the letter E, and notice E is already in here, and what we said before, if you're using the same letter, you know for certain they are intersecting, because that point is on both lines. So I wouldn't want to use LC. Why not? Because those are in the same plane and they don't intersect, but because they're in the same plane, they're parallel, not skew. So I couldn't use LC. So I couldn't use DH either, because this is one of those tricky ones where actually DH is going the same direction as JE. I could actually connect these with lines here, and that makes this plane that kind of goes through the middle. So those would be parallel, not skew. So again, I'm kind of looking for lines that are going different direction to EJ. What about AB? AB, EJ is going up and down, AB is going horizontal. They're not in the same one, so that would be a possibility. FG would be a possibility. Let's see, I think that's about maybe all I would use to name here. So I could use any of those, AB or FG. Okay, so hopefully that was good for your lesson. Make sure you write a good summary, write a good question. We'll see you in class.